think we should just get started. So welcome
Yeah.
everyone. Welcome to How to Make Dinner live stream edition. I'm so excited about this because I kind of feel like I've been putting it off for a while just because it's been nerve-wracking, the idea of going live. But then my dear friend Caledonia, who's an amazing bartender and ambassador for St Germain, was like, you want to do a live stream? I was like, yes. So here's Caledonia joining me today. Thanks so much for doing this with me. It's so fun.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited. I've been watching your stream, or I guess not your stream, but your website and your blog for a couple years now since you started, and I use it all the time, especially on date nights when I need to impress a guy. So
I love it. I
super
love when
excited.
I've seen, you'll text me the next morning with like a picture of your whatever you made. It's so nice. It's amazing. That's like
Totally.
the best thing ever to receive those
Actually, I think my favorite dish is your lemon chicken that you do in the Dutch oven. I've made that dish
with the
quite a few times.
capers.
It's a
Mm,
hit. It's a hit. Yes,
so
capers for
good.
sure.
So good. Cool. Okay, great. We look good and the quality is good apparently.
Okay, okay,
So
good.
commenters, I'm gonna try and like peer over there and say hi back and do all that kind of stuff and answer any questions. But also, we're multitasking, so bear with us. So what are we making today, Cal? I think I'll say what I'm making. Well, we're both making it, but my contribution to this is Cobb Salad grazing platter. And the reason for this is because obviously grazing platters have been all the rage for a long time. And Cobb salad to me is like one of my favorite things, but I just don't see it as a salad. Like it's like bacon and chicken and like blue cheese and I don't know, crunchy lettuce. I just want to I want to dip it and I want to like pick it apart. I don't really want to eat it with a fork. So I thought a grazing platter would be great. So that's what we're gonna do. And you're bringing the cocktail edition.
Woohoo! Yeah, yeah. So that sounds amazing. I'm really excited to make this grazing platter. I'm obsessed with these right now. I made a huge one for Christmas, and I wish I didn't put out so much food because my guests were almost too full to eat dinner. So you got to watch that when you're snacking away in the afternoon. But it was super good.
Nice.
Anyway, we're gonna make a couple cocktails. So we're going to do a variation of the St. Germain Spritz. So St. Germain is an elderflower liqueur from France. And I happen to work for this company. So that's the bottle. You might have seen it on the shelves. It's kind of like this beautiful Art Deco looking bottle. We're going to stir that up with some sparkling wine and pomegranate shrub. So yeah, it's kind of like you can add and soup it up with like a couple different ingredients if you have different things in your pantries. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as I make it. And as we go along, I'm gonna just tell you a couple tips and tricks and things that you can add options, you know.
Perfect. So before we get started on any of it, because I do want to make a cocktail ASAP because
Me too.
nerves. But we do have a cooked component to the Cobb salad that I think we should get in the oven sooner than later so that we're not making these people hang out with us all night long. So for the grazing platter, like there's always chicken and bacon on a Cobb salad as far as I can tell. So I decided let's make little cubes of chicken and wrap them in bacon and then bake them so that we can just have like little chicken bacon bites. So I thought that was kind of cool. Our ovens are both preheated to 425 and we're just going to fire these in. Earlier today I tested it. It took about 20 minutes surprisingly, even though the chicken's pretty small, but I guess the bacon really kind of protects it. So we'll start with 20 minutes. Maybe we'll start with 18 minutes just in case.
Perfect. My
Okay.
oven literally just beeped on the preheat, so good
Okay.
timing.
All right, 18 minutes on the clock. I'm going to set my phone timer for that.
Okay, I'm gonna just trust you and let you do that.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll race our ovens.
Hey Siri, set a timer for 18 minutes.
Your timer is set for 18 minutes.
I made my Siri British the other day. Just
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so convenient and awesome. Cool. So what's next? Do you have any other
Yeah.
prep that you want to talk about?
Let's do the cocktail
Yeah.
because
So
then we can drink it while we prep.
yeah. Okay. So this is a really simple kind of sparkling cocktail. I think that the pomegranate and like the sort of savory flavors with the St Germain is really gonna contrast nicely with all the flavors that we have on this grazing board. So we can talk about that as we drink it, but let's get into making it first. So first of all, you can start with about half a cup of pomegranate juice. So Paula, you have some there. I actually had some frozen pomegranate in the freezer. I don't really recommend using that because you don't get much juice from the little seeds as you would with that. So throw that into like a little saucepan. I have mine good to go here.
Okay.
Be careful with that. This stuff stains. Yeah, do half a cup.
Okay.
And if you're starting with juice, you don't really have to heat this up too much because we're just incorporating a couple little ingredients into it. But what I did, I prepped this earlier because it took a while to make. I grated some ginger and a little bit of lemon zest. If you don't have either of those, a little bit of orange zest or lime zest would work really well. You can kind of just see what's in your fridge and incorporate whatever you think would marry nicely with pomegranate. So what I did was just grate about a tablespoon of fresh ginger in there.
Okay.
And maybe, I don't know, like the zest of one lemon or one orange or one lime. I would dial down the lime if you're going to use lime. Maybe just like half of the lime zest because lime tends to be a little bit overpowering.
Okay. I'm doing
So we're
the
just
spoon peel on the ginger. I know. I think
yeah, show us how to do that. I've heard that tip is really useful.
well, it's just easier because you can really kind of like steer around all the little knobbly bits. And there is a new school of thought of people that don't peel ginger because they just don't see that there's a point. But I totally see the point. Like the skin is really tough. I don't want that in whatever I'm eating. So I peel it with a spoon. Only takes a second.
Totally. And then when you're grating it, I would just use a microplane or the small side of your cheese grater and just grate that straight in.
I love microplanes.
Me too. It's important to invest in a good one.
Yeah, and also they do eventually flatten out. So this is the second one I've owned in probably like 20 years or something. Like every 10 years, get a new one because they do sort of flatten and it's harder to get the grapes.
Yeah. I recommend always hand washing it too, like how you would treat your sharp knives.
So don't just pull it out of the dishwasher like I just did.
Well, you could.
Okay, so I got the ginger in there, and then is that it?
Yeah, if you have a little bit of orange or any zest you want to add, you could just do straight up pomegranate juice in this too, but we're also going to add some important ingredient. This is red wine vinegar, so I'll get into that.
Okay, I'm going to do
as we're talking here. So red wine vinegar, we're making a shrub. So this is going to be the acid component to your cocktail. Usually when you make a cocktail, you add lemon or lime or some vermouth, and that kind of like rounds out the cocktail, gives it some body, and kind of balances it really nicely. So for half a cup of pomegranate juice, I'm just going to do like a tablespoon of red wine vinegar to this. We don't want it to overpower the drink that much.
Okay.
I mean, vinegar is really aromatic, so you kind of have to be careful. You don't want to use a lot. The less is more. And I'm just going to throw that. Yeah, what's up?
A lot of people don't think of cocktails the same way they think of like cooking, where you're looking for balance and you're adding different components to get, to play off the, your palate in different ways. Like, I think that's something that people completely overlook because they're like rum and Coke or whatever. But when you're making cocktails, it's like adding things like vinegar and like salty things and savory things and herbal things. It's makes it really.
Yeah, but even like you said, like a rum and Coke or a Cuba Libre, there's still citric acid that is in the soda. So you're still getting an acid component from the Coca-Cola. And it's, you know, all incorporated into one ingredient, but there are those components within a drink such as that, like such as simple as that. So
they're like,
yeah. Yeah. So you always want to think about like acid in a cocktail, either lemon or lime juice. I personally love to use vinegars and shrubs. I just think they're really interesting. You can cook them down. You can make like a balsamic reduction, and it kind of like thickens the cocktail as well. So yeah, if you're interested, hit me up on Instagram and ask me any questions about this, or, you know, you can research it online.
I feel like I might be able to put your handle on the screen, but hold on. I feel like I'm getting people's hopes up now. Can I do that?
It's Caledonia.St Germain, and that's my Instagram.
Cool. I wonder, I know there's a way to do it. Ooh.
Okay. So we're almost ready to like make this cocktail.
Okay. So
I would.
Oops, I made a mistake there. Hold on. My stuff is still just in the pot. I don't have it on the stove yet. Is that right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe just heat it up a little bit on low, just to incorporate all the ingredients. So it's, you don't want to get it too hot because you're adding it to our drink. You could probably just stir it in, and I would double strain it. So I would use, sorry, it's a little dirty, but like a little like strainer.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a little dirty. I'd strained my pomegranate already with it. Just to get the chunks of ginger out once you heat it up.
Okay. That's good too, because that means that even if you don't have a microplane and you're just using like a thick box grater, you can still make this and just strain out those big pieces.
Yeah, strain out those big pieces. If you're using fresh pomegranate, cooking it down, you want to get all those pomegranate chunks out. Maybe save a couple for garnish. I have some in the bowl here. I'm just gonna throw them in at the end and make a sort of bubble tea thing going on. So yeah.
Like with the pomegranate seeds as the bubbles?
Yeah, just like throw in a couple pomegranate seeds at the end, just for a little bit of a garnish. And they'll float to the top because we're putting Prosecco in the drink. Nice. So the bubbles from the Prosecco will make them rise up and down. So yeah, we can see this all happen. I'm going to crack my bubbly.
Okay. I'm going to do this.
So I have martini Prosecco. That's what I recommend. It's like a nice dry Prosecco. You can use something fancier. You can use sparkling rosé, like a nice Cremant would do really nicely with this cocktail.
You know what I've been into lately is Lambrusco.
I love Lambrusco.
Same, but it was.
Like, I don't suggest making. I don't know, like for like spritzes and stuff, Lambrusco is delicious, but I just love drinking Lambrusco on its own or with cheese.
Ooh, so good. That's a new thing for me. I just went into the
so yeah, this is
like, what should I get? Oh yeah, I got there it is.
Oh nice. Yeah, that's perfect.
Any old Prosecco, right?
Yeah, because we're adding ingredients to it, as long as it's dry, because we're adding St Germain, which is, you know, a liqueur, so we're adding sweetener to it. You don't want it to be overly sweet, unless you like that sort of thing.
And then any tips on opening it other than, I know
it's
in the bottle. Yeah.
Good timing. So when I open champagne or sparkling wine, unless I'm like, you know, putting on a show and savoring it, this is how I like to open it. So I just put my hand, I take off the foil and the cage, and I just open it as slow as possible. You actually want to avoid making that popping noise because that lets out too much gas. So you want to do it as, quieter than Paula.
Hey, that one took barely, like, no force. It just happened. Usually I'm able to do it slowly, but
actually mine popped kind of loud too. So
they were just, these bottles are like, you girls better be ready for us because we're coming out of the bottle.
Yeah, totally. So make sure your sparkling wine is chilled. I guess I'm stating the obvious. And then when I'm making a spritz, I actually start with the bubbles.
Okay.
If you started with the St Germain or the pomegranate shrub, it'll just sit at the bottom and you'll have to stir that into the drink, and that's going to agitate the bubbles and it's not going to be as fizzy as we're intending. So always start with the bubbles, even if you're making just like a basic St. Germain spritz or something like that. It's the best way to do it. So if you have a champagne flute,
I have a wine glass.
That's what I'm using. A wine glass is great. Okay. So I don't usually measure
I know this.
I don't usually measure like my bubbles when I pour them in because it fizzes over, but I'm going to fill the glass like 3/4 of the way up. And that's going to be about, let's say, 3 ounces.
This is a big glass.
Yeah, we'll just kind of estimate 3 ounces. I don't know. You can go over if you want. This cocktail is really forgiving, so you can totally eyeball every ingredient that you're putting in here and just kind of balance it out.
Okay, I feel like I need more because you're having more.
I'm making 2, and I think I might drink them both.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Perfect.
Early New Year's, right? Let's just start the party.
Yeah, early New Year's. I love it. Yeah. I have to work tomorrow night, so yeah, this can be my celebration.
Perfect.
So we're gonna go ahead and use some elderflower liqueur. So we're using St. Germain today, and this is made from wild elderflowers grown in France. They grow in like the foothills of the Alps. I know it smells amazing. It's really aromatic. It's not floral in the way you think. Yeah, but it's not floral in the way you think would be like, you know, if you're smelling like rose or violets. Yeah. It's more of like a tropical kind of note I get from it. A lot of people say it almost tastes like lychee.
Yeah.
Or lychee. I don't know. How do you say? Do you say lychee or lychee?
I think I say lychee, but I hear it both ways. I don't know. Maybe you guys. I don't know what the what the commenters will say. Lychee. I say lychee.
And you could eyeball this. I'm going to use a jigger. A jigger is a measuring device, so you could use a shot glass, or I actually have another one, a Japanese style jigger. This is my favorite tool to use. It's actually an OXO gravy cup.
Oh, nice.
And there's measurements all inside, and I love it. So you've got a little jigger there.
This is Alberta Premium, and it's
perfect.
2 shots on one side and one. That's a jigger, right? When it's 2 in 1.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is 2 ounces on the large end and 1 ounce on this, and usually there's like little measurement lines inside. I don't think you can see them on my camera, but trust me. It's a good investment if you're doing making a lot of cocktails at home, and pretty much every bartender uses them. So let's do 3/4 of an ounce, and we're just gonna pour this straight into the glass. So I'm just gonna measure that out. Yeah, 3/4 of an ounce. And by now, your pomegranate shrub should just be kind of heating up and incorporating. That's probably good on the stove.
Okay.
We don't want to cook it down for too long.
Oh, yeah, ginger.
Yeah, and it's quite pungent because we added that vinegar. And like I said, a little goes a long way with the vinegar. So we're literally I'm gonna measure out like 1/4 of an ounce. So if you don't have a measuring device, I would just put in a tablespoon.
Okay. And I'm gonna measure. And then I just 1/4 of an ounce. 1/4 of an ounce.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like very, very little. I never put more than that if it has vinegar into the cocktail, just because like the vinegar kind of takes over the aromatics and it's too acidic. So.
Okay. And am I straining it into the drink?
Yeah, if you still have stuff in your mixture, then I would strain it into the drink. I pre-strained mine with the magic of setting up before live television.
Yeah, perfect. Smart woman.
Okay, so that should have changed your cocktail to
nice color now.
a beautiful, like ruby kind of pink. And as I said, you're building from the bubbles up, so you shouldn't really have to stir this much, but I'm just gonna give it like just a little bit of agitation, like one stir around. That's all you really need, just so everything is incorporated and it's all one single color.
Really nice.
It smells so good. I'm going to garnish mine with rosemary and just a couple pomegranate seeds that I have left over from making my shrub. You can use whatever. You can make a big sexy lemon peel and add that to the drink. It's going to give it some nice like lemon, zest, aromatics. I really like the smell of this fresh rosemary that I got today. So I'm just going to throw that straight into the drink.
I have an orange.
Is it going to bubble over?
I'll do a big orange.
And mine are bubbling over. Perfect. Perfect way to end 2020.
Oh, this isn't working at all.
So yeah, I can teach you how to make yeah, be careful when you put the rosemary in. Mine just like totally flowed over.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I got these brand new flutes today, so I'm not used to working with them. There we go.
Okay, I think this is a bad zesting orange. It's like really thin, like the skin is really thin. So
what you can do is use a paring knife then.
Oh, okay.
And I can teach you how to combat that. So yeah, so Paula's gonna, I use the rosemary and Paula's gonna make like a big sexy citrus zest. So she's gonna use orange. You can use lemon or lime as well. So normally you would take either a channel knife or a peeler and peel off. But since the skin is super thin on that orange, cut off just a big cheek off the side. Like go ahead, don't even worry about like getting some of the orange in there. And then now you're gonna lay that flat skin side down, like with the pith on the top, and just kind of push it, take a sharp knife, like a sharp paring knife or something, and then push it so it's sort of flat because it's concave right now.
Oh, flesh side down, you mean?
No, peel side down. Yeah, the outside of the orange down. And then you're going to take off all of that pith and all of that orange, and you're going to just kind of swipe along there. It's kind of sawing back and forth.
Okay. Our timer just went, so let me just check the chicken.
Okay, we'll put a pause on that. I'm going to add some pomegranate.
It looks good. I'm going to see.
I think mine needs a bit more.
Okay. Yeah, everyone's oven's different, and depending on how big you cut the chunks.
And how crispy you want it.
And how crispy you want it, exactly. So I should plug my favorite thermometer, because I actually do. Steven's watching still, and he always wants me to have affiliate links. I do have an affiliate link for this thermometer from ThermoWorks. It's the Thermopop, but what am I going to do there? I think I'll just have to drop the links in after the fact. These are the best thermometers ever. They're kind of expensive. I think this one was like $50 Canadian, so it's probably like 38 or something US. But the tip is so fine, which means that you don't poke hole. You don't like. It's some of those thermometers. It's like jamming a knitting needle inside of your steak, and it's like you're like boiling this giant. It's like no. We need a nice fine tip. So this is instant and it's fine tip, and I love it. I'm a big fan. So anyway,
boom.
Yeah, my chicken's done. So if yours looks like it needs a few more minutes, then that's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it in there. I'm a crispy bacon person. So yeah, are we going back to the orange zest?
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of push it down so it's flat, and then you're gonna just kind of saw off all of the pith there, and try to get as much as you can off of it without cutting into the actual outside of the peel. Now that pith, that white part is actually pretty bitter, and I usually take that off of my lemon peels and orange peels anyway when I use a peeler, because it turns the drink bitter. Like if you're putting it into the drink, imagine it becoming like a tea bag or something. It steeps into the drink and it changes the profile of the drink. Unless it's your intention to go a little bit bitter with that, I always take off the pith.
Okay. So
Perfect. And you,
I still have some white because it's that thin.
yeah, that's okay then.
Okay.
If you
And
have
it's
a
kind
little
of
bit, then that's fine, but just try to get as much as you can. And now you can cut it into whatever shape you want. So you can cut it into a strip if you have enough, or like a square. If you're talented, you could try to leave it in a perfect circle.
I kind of want to try again, but I feel like I don't have enough orange left.
Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you want to just spray it. Make sure you're spraying the zest
Oh
and all
yes.
of the oils on top of the drink, and that'll give it some really nice aromatic there.
Okay. Okay, this is a better piece.
Dope. And you can get really creative with the shapes of your garnishes. I've seen people do really beautiful like leaf garnishes, and take one of those tiny little clove pegs that you can get from Michael's and just put it on the side of the glass. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
would be really pretty.
So this is better. It's a bit more, and it's just kind of organic. Oh, camera's there.
Lovely. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. And then just make sure you're just kind of dancing it over the glass. Just kind of squeeze it over the glass. There you go.
It's amazing
And
how
then
much
just drop
oil
it
does
straight
come
in.
out. And then drop it in?
Yeah. 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 Next time I can show you how to flame an orange zest. That'll be
Ooh,
fun.
yes. That'll be the next live stream. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold mine up to the camera. Cheers. So
Cheers.
I just added the pomegranate seeds. It's got some rosemary. Super pretty. I think this is gonna taste so good with all that cheese and ranch and garlic. The acid is gonna cut right through.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Nice and bubbly and savory.
cheers, everyone who's watching, and happy early New Year's. Thanks so much for this.
Happy New Year!
I think it's going well so far.
Yeah.
This is delicious, and you're right about the vinegar. I feel like when you're dealing with champagne or prosecco and sweet things, it's so nice to just have that acid cut right
That
through.
little cut, and you're not adding like extra juice or anything, or extra. Well, I guess the vinegar doesn't have any sugar. If you're just to add a little dash of red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar to it, depending on what you're making, it cuts through the sweetness of the St Germain and the liqueur. Even if you were to make like a Cure Royale or something like that, add a little dash of vinegar to that, and that'll like make it less sweet and more palatable and rounder. But keep in mind always that, the vinegar is super powerful. So only add, don't ever go over a quarter ounce.
Okay. I love it. I'm like, every sip is better than the one before. Yum. So, what do you think? Should we make some salad?
Yeah.
Who wants to place bets on how far down this is going to go in the next 5 minutes? It's so good. So good. Okay. So, Cobb salad, grazing platter. So first thing to do is figure out what you want to put this thing on. I have this giant wooden board, which I'm quite a big fan of. It's very rustic. What do you have to put your board on, Caledonia?
I have I have the same sort of setup. I have a Paderno cutting board.
Okay.
I find it works quite well. I think when you go with charcuterie boards or grazing boards, the bigger the better.
Yeah.
And you want to spread, you want to have like things in between and make it look bountiful. So
totally.
I think it's the best way to do it.
I think it's just a matter of starting and just like starting to put things down and make it look good. So we have some lettuces. I have romaine and some Belgian endive because those are both like quite hearty and like dippable. So I cut the romaine in kind of long spears for the most part. I mean, some of them are pretty wild, but I mean, this is very easy to like fold up, and you can use it like as a dipping veg. And then endive is one of my all-time favorite things ever because it's just a natural scoop.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I wish I had some of that. And I love like the pepperiness of endive.
So good. I'm trying to remember. I just used endive like last week on. I can't even remember what last week's episode was, but I'm pretty sure it involved endive. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna just start laying things down. So there's the endive, the romaine. I have some celery because celery is just so good for dipping always. I have some cherry tomatoes, which is a little bit out of character. I don't usually do tomatoes when it's not summertime because they're just never as good. But I just felt like it. Sue me.
Yeah, no, I remember reading on one of your previous blogs about tomatoes.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, but yeah,
they don't compare.
definitely
Like
good
winter,
advice.
even winter, these ones are very pretty. They're like from a local hothouse, whatever. They look
Yeah.
really nice, but the flavor just doesn't compare. And I also have a chunk of blue cheese. This is Saint Benoit from Quebec, I think.
Mm.
But you can use any blue cheese, and if you're not into blue cheese, you could also just use any sharp, crumbly cheese, like a crumbly cheddar, or even like a really sharp manchego, like a year-old manchego, would be good. So we're just starting, right? We're just laying things out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I've got going on. So I went to the store and I got some crystal green leaf lettuce, and it's kind of cute.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, definitely you're looking for lettuce that can be like almost like scoopable.
Yeah.
And then I have I have some cherry tomatoes as well, and then I got some Stighton. The Stighton looks great.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually lactose intolerant, so I eat a lot of sheep's cheese. So I have some manchego as well, and I think that's going to go really well.
Nice.
And cascabel, maybe.
Oh, that's my new favorite. One of my new favorites is cascabel, the Bulgarian cheese. It's amazing.
Yeah, or caciocavalli from Italy. Yeah. It's all kind of the same category, and I get mine.
It's the same thing.
It is, yeah. And it's almost like rubbery. You can fry it. You can just it melts super well. I used it in my scalloped potatoes that I made, and it was divine.
Nice. So I feel like the main thing with grazing platters is to bunch things together. So I like to do like 2 or 3 clusters to start. So right now I have like a cluster of green stuff in one corner and a cluster in the other corner. But I'm not using it all up at this point because I know I'm going to want to like freestyle a bit later. But I think a lot of people just try and get a little bit chaotic, but really keep things really tightly bunched up, I think is the best. Hi, Maria. Maria's here. Yay.
Hi.
A mutual friend. So green stuff down. And then I think next I want to put the bread down just because it's big.
Okay.
So I have some, and this, I'm really glad you guys can only see this cutting board because this whole kitchen is not looking good at the moment. But
yeah, I'm gonna Instagram my setup after this. It's freaking hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Totally. I have a beautiful baguette from Full AP, one of the best bakeries ever, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I living out of Victoria now. I moved away, and I miss that bakery so much. But I live near a really nice bakery on the drive called Livia, and they're almost like the Vancouver equivalent of Full AP.
Is that new? I feel like that wasn't there when I used to live there.
Fairly new, yeah.
Cool.
Like within the last, I think, couple years.
Right.
So I have a baguette too. Are we cutting this on an angle? Like, are we doing?
was gonna do like long sticks, and then I thought just a severe angle, and then it's nice and
Okay.
like super long, like almost ridiculously, steep.
And how thick do you want them?
I mean, it's got to hold up to like, actually not too thick because you don't want too much in one bite, but just enough so that it's, you can really kind of pick things up with it.
Okay.
And I know that Cobb salad isn't really something that involves bread very usually at all, but we're dipping, we need it.
Yeah, I mean, it's New Year's Eve. We need carbs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
soak up all this
sending the 20 off with good food. And now, are you cutting up a whole baguette for this?
I might just stop here because I've been cutting for a while now and I'm kind of over it. So I'm gonna
bread stream. I love it.
my tray back up here. And yeah, I'm just kind of starting with the big things because it's just, they take up the most real estate on the old board. And then I think after the bread, it might be a good time to do the cheese?
Yeah.
So I just have a little triangle. I actually got this cheese for free because I won a contest on Instagram for this new grocery store, this local place called the Urban Grocer. And I got a $10 gift certificate to there. So that covered my cheese cost.
That's lovely. I love that.
So I'm dropping that like just a little bit off center.
I'm going to take out my little bites.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my your oven is way more efficient than mine.
Yeah, I guess so. Whenever I do cheese on a platter like this, I like to kind of like take a knife or something and just kind of bust off the first bits so that it doesn't just look like a whole triangle of cheese, because otherwise nobody wants to be the first one. So I'll just chisel off like the first few, and then I'll just
at least in Canada anyway.
Yeah, and then I just pop the thing in there so people can see. It's like instructions, like this is what you're supposed to do, So that's cool. And then I keep doing this because I have flour all over my hands. I think we have a fire alarm. Yes, bread is the best, Rebecca. I agree. This is awesome. Okay, so we got green stuff, bread stuff, cheese stuff. So Callie and I both pre-boiled some eggs. We used my jammy egg method, which is there's a video for it. If you haven't already seen it, I'll stick a link in the thing. It's basically just steaming the eggs. So I just put a little bit of water in the pan, bring it to a boil, and then drop them in for exactly 7 minutes. 7 minutes is my perfect, but everybody else has their own perfect. So if you like them a little bit more well cooked, do that. But I'm curious to see if yours turned out just exactly like mine, because you just followed my instructions, right, Kels?
I did, yeah. I might have done a little bit more water when I boiled them.
Yeah, that's cool. The main thing about the water is the reason I use such a small amount is that you only need a small amount because it's really more about steaming them rather than boiling them. And when you only use a little bit of water, it comes back to the boil immediately after you drop the eggs in. So whether you're making 2 or 20, they'll cook at the same rate. Whereas if you were to cook 20 eggs in a full pot of water, it would cool down so much that it would drastically change the cooking time. You know what I mean? So
interesting.
Yeah, because it would take so long to get to a boil. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this egg in half. Maybe I'll see if I can do it on camera here, even though it's gonna be gooey. Yeah. So
yes. So lengthwise.
Yeah. And just keep that yolk in there, and then just prop them up like little yolky boats. Ooh, they're perfect. I'm so happy.
Okay, let's see. Need a knife.
Oh dear. There's one. And with the eggs, I do kind of just disperse them around. A little here, a little there.
Oh yeah, these are perfect.
Nice.
I don't know how clearly you can see them, but worked out
Yeah.
very well.
They look great. 7 minutes, I tell you.
7 minutes. So we did 4 of them. How are you propping them up on the lettuce?
I'm just propping them up, just tucking them in here and there. Like wherever they look like they'll stand up. They're kind of centered in the middle of the platter. I don't know if you can really see that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what's next? Avo? Did I remember to ask you to buy avocado or not?
I do have an avocado. Yeah, yep.
Okay, good. I couldn't remember if I added that on the shopping list. Hi, Heather.
This is turning out to be the cutest little board.
I know.
Love it.
So good. So Avo's going on next. Oh, a couple avocado tips, you guys. If it's missing the little stem bit, I don't buy it because that is like a pathway for brownness to get in. So yeah, because it's like exposing the avocado, right? So often if you buy them without the little tip, you'll cut into it and it'll be brown on the top. So that's a tip.
Good to know.
My mom is, she brags about my avocado choosing skills. She has done that since I was quite young. I'll try.
How do you feel about cutting up the avocado and placing it back in the shell for the board?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, it's a little bit more work for your eaters.
Okay.
But I'm fine with that.
I'm gonna try it.
I do that with pineapple. Like when I used to do catering and work in hotels and stuff, I cut the pineapple out with a flexible knife and then cut it into little pieces and then put it back in the pineapple. That was cool. I really miss doing events sometimes. I used to do like banquets and we did all the over the top stuff, like all the cool, like the radish mice and stuff like that with garnish.
So, oh, cute. Yeah, I miss events too.
Yeah, we miss events. I think that's the consensus here,
right? So how are you cutting your avocado? Are you slicing it into like long pieces or dicing it?
I'm slicing it crossways.
Okay.
But mine are not beautiful, so they're I'm just getting what I can out of them that looks decent. And I'm nesting
any tips
next to the cheese.
Love it. Yeah. Any tips on if you're prepping this in advance? I guess avocado would probably be the last thing you want to do, just so it doesn't sit out for so long.
Yeah, definitely. Everything else could sit though. If you had a couple of damp paper towels, you could just kind of lay it over the whole thing, and that would be fine. And then just do the avos last minute. I feel like I'm neglecting my cocktail.
Oh yeah, you got to get into that.
I've just got avocado.
Actually, I used the shell. It actually turned out quite nice. I just kind of fanned it out in the shell.
Nice.
It looks kind of cute. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah. I have to tell the story about my mom and I with avocados. So my mom loves them too. I don't know if my mom's here. So we used to buy one. We'd go to the grocery store together when I was a kid and we'd be like, okay, we'll get one and we'll share it because my brother and my dad don't like them. So we'd buy one with the intention of sharing it. I get half, she gets half. I would eat my half. And then her half would be sitting there in the kitchen, just like with a bowl over it or something for, I swear it was days. It must not have been days. It maybe was like a day. Oh, there's my mom. Hi, Mom. And I would like every time I went into the kitchen, it would just be staring at me like, eat me, eat me. And so, of course, I finally would just give in and eat it. And then my mom would come home from work that day being like, I been looking forward to getting that all day. So,
oh my
I
gosh.
ruined her life. But I'm trying to make up for it now, Mom. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you can't just leave food lying around like that, especially if it's an avocado.
I know. This is like looking incredible, I think. What do you guys think of this? Look at this madness. We're getting to the final touches. And I think I'm going to go tomatoes next. But before I do that, actually, I want to find a couple spots on the board for some bowls. So I have two tiny little dishes here. One's going to be for ranch and one's going to be for like a red wine dipping vinaigrette type thing.
All right.
So I'm just going to like find the real estate for those and nestle them in so that they don't miss out.
Great idea.
There's a good spot there. So, and the ranch, honestly, I just love store-bought ranch. I mean, I made tahini ranch on the show one time, and it's awesome. And you can make your own, you know, buttermilk, onion powder, garlic powder, all that. But good old Lighthouse ranch is just easy and delicious. So I'm gonna.
Well, as since you mentioned it, I actually made my own. I made dairy-free ranch, and it turned out green because I put a bunch of fresh parsley in it. So
good.
yeah, I can actually send you my recipe to post, but it has egg in it, so it's not vegan, but it's dairy-free because I used just plant-based milk. So I used a little bit of almond milk in this, and it turned out great. I put 1 clove of garlic in it, and it's just like super garlicky, which I love, but like 1 clove of garlic goes a long way, especially when it's raw.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little thin. I think next time I would use coconut milk.
Yeah, or you can try my tahini ranch. It's so good.
Yeah. And do you put paprika in yours?
I can't remember.
I threw a little bit of paprika in mine, and it just like made it really nice and aromatic and beautiful. Nice. So yeah, I'll send you the recipe to throw up on the link.
So we have that, and then we're just gonna do in the other dish, which is just a very tiny one. I just wanted to do a little dippy. I love like the whole balsamic bread thing that you do in like Italian restaurants, but we're doing red wine vinegar and olive oil because of the red wine vinegar in the cocktail to kind of marry that idea. And also because when I was actually in Italy many years ago, I never saw balsamic vinegar on any of the tables. It was always like regular vinegar, like white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar. So I think
you don't say.
Yeah, I was like, I guess balsamic's not really as much of a thing as it is in North America. So just a little.
So are you using extra virgin or olive oil?
I actually have a Greek olive oil here. It's Thrifty's brand, but it's Greek. Greek olive oil, I find it's the best. No matter what.
See, they say the same thing about Spanish olive oil.
I know, but I'm not Spanish. I'm not Greek. I'm not Italian, so I'm not biased. But like, anytime I smell Greek olive oil, I'm like, olives. Like that's just, I get olives from it.
I got this, there's a little restaurant here in Vancouver called Fabrique St Jean. And I got this like really cool, like Spanish olive oil.
Nice.
And it comes in like the most like hipster little bottle. It's called Claremont, and it's like extra virgin.
That's such a cool bottle.
Still getting used to this camera thing, but yeah, I know it's like the coolest thing. But yeah, if you have a chance to come to Vancouver, I'll take you to this really cool little, it's like a winery / charcuterie place. And you just basically, it's like a grocery shop, and you go and select everything you want and you make your own board. And then you just buy a bottle of wine and sit there. And they have a piano. It's great. It's like the coolest little place.
Dreamy. Oh God, I can't wait.
Sweet. So ratio wise, when you do your little dip.
I mean, I'm a vinegar lover, so I do 50-50.
Okay.
Yep. And it's just like a little bit of extra moisture. It's something else it's another option for dunking, you know? It's just nice. And then the last thing is the tomatoes, right? So I'm just going to cluster the tomatoes around in a way that looks appealing. fill in the blanks. Basically, fill in the blanks with tomatoes. And we
Are
save
you
these.
chopping them in half at all, or
I'm not. I'm leaving them whole.
okay?
I mean,
And then
cutting some in
we
half
can't
might
forget
be.
the meat.
You know what? If they're big, cut them in half. But also, yeah, you're right. Cutting them in half might give a little visual interest.
Um,
Mm.
I like this element of finishing a grazing board with like tomatoes or like just something small like blueberries or even pomegranate seeds. It kind of just adds that extra pizzazz to it where it's almost like a little Christmas ornament
Yeah.
or something like a little sparkle.
Yes.
I did a big one with and I actually used more pomegranate. Sorry, I have like an obsession with pomegranate these days. But yeah, I used pomegranate, and they're just like so shiny and little jewels. But
They really
I
are.
think that's what the tomatoes are doing to this board too. It's just a little extra element of color.
Yeah. And because they roll around, because they're round, they kind of just like naturally fill in all the gaps.
Yes, yeah. You want your board to look as bountiful as possible.
Yeah. I feel like this thing looks quite bountiful.
So we got to leave a space for all of these little bacon chicken
Oh my god,
things.
I forgot about them.
I had a feeling.
Like, okay, I have no. So this is like a total testament to vegetarianism. There is no room on this thing for meat, but we'll find a way because I was like, what's missing?
Something.
So the chicken bacon things, you can do toothpicks and then they'll be guaranteed to hold together. But I ran out of toothpicks, so I just stuck 3 per skewer, and I'm just gonna slide them off the skewer and onto the board. Oh my god, I literally have no room.
And I full on forgot about the toothpicks, and actually they held together. I just wrapped them and made sure the end of the bacon was on the inside or on the bottom and
Right.
weighing it down. And actually it worked pretty well. And I think I need to change grocery stores because mine was sold out of a chicken breast.
Oh,
So I used turkey
okay.
just for a little bit more of a leaner option. Maybe that's why it took longer to cook. And yeah, I think they turned out really beautiful. I
No.
haven't tried one yet, but
Okay, if this was me on my own, I would have definitely forgotten. And then I would have come up on the live stream and been like, damn it.
yeah, you
So I
can't
do
throw an
that
edit
all the
on this
time with
one.
videos. We're like, I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say. Is that it? Is that it? And then we end it. And then like an hour later, I'm like, I never talked about the thing. And but what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, live streaming is a whole different beast. So, my one thing about live streaming is I need to have another person there for banter and whatnot because oh my god, this looks so good.
No. So hang on, are you by yourself or do you have a roommate or someone to share this with? Because
I'm just gonna use this giant board to myself. No, I have a little someone special to share this with tonight,
okay,
so
perfect,
I'm excited.
perfect.
You
Yeah,
got your
so
boys there.
yeah, they actually I just heard the door close, so I think they've gone away somewhere, probably to get out of, probably to stop listening to me. But they'll be back.
They didn't want to wait.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Rude.
totally. Okay, so I managed to squeeze all the chicken bacon bites. Look at that, you guys. Oh my god.
Gorgeous. I'm gonna show you mine. Hang on. I'm just gonna add a couple more tomatoes. I filled my ranch berry full, so what I'm gonna do is this.
Mm. What? That looks so good.
Oh,
Do the same. I think I can do that too. Oh, my countertop is not.
and then like also the cocktail in there.
I'll move this bottom. Yeah.
Anyway,
Amazing.
cheers. Happy New Year. Hey, I just wanted to tell you, I was thinking for our, I know you have a little one at home, and if anybody else does and they want to make a non-alc version, or if they don't drink of the cocktail, I'll post the recipe for the pomegranate shrub, which is completely alcohol free. You can either go to the store and buy an elderflower liqueur, or just use like a fun sparkling water. Like Pellegrino has some fun ones, or if you go to like any like Italian shop, they always have like fun Italian sodas, like lemonade or something like that. And if you just add that pomegranate shrub to it, it's so good as well. So yeah, definitely options out there.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah. I know I'm often like after one or two, I'm like, okay, I want to keep drinking, but I want to not be drinking. So I often
Italian sodas. I live on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, and I am in heaven with Italian soda. So
Are we doing it? Wait, I bought red wine. What did I buy red wine for? Is that something for something else?
Red wine vinegar.
Oh, red wine vinegar. Okay, so I just have this.
Yeah.
This is not going to do anything. So we're just doing the one cocktail, right? Or are we doing two cocktails?
Yeah, I mean, we could. There are options. If you have soda water, I can teach you how to make a St Germain Spritz.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
I don't, so I can just make a St Germain fizz. Okay. But basically, if you add 2.5 parts. Hello.
Hi. Still here. We're still here. We're on. Are we on? For some reason, I can't get Caledonia back. I'll just call her. Hi.
Hi. I think that's better.
It says that I have an hour left still of interview time, but it's not giving it to me. Okay. So ice.
Ice, yeah. Yeah, fill the puppy up. Fill it straight to the brim because it'll go down. And a hot tip when you're making like a gin and tonic or anything with ice, really, other than like if it's a special ice cube, if you're just adding a bunch of ice from your freezer, fill the glass chock full of ice, like as much as you can get in there. That's perfect, yeah. Okay. And then add about 3 ounces of your Prosecco.
Which will basically be this whole thing.
Well, leave some space for the St. Germain. Okay. And then add about an ounce of St. Germain.
Okay. The free pour. I love the free pour.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I love skipping the soda in my spritzes. I mean, it's not for everyone. The soda definitely adds like a freshness and a nice like dilution to it, but it's New Year's Eve. What the heck?
Yeah, I'm into that.
So yeah, and then you want to finish it off with some sort of garnish, just so you have a bit of aromatic. So you could use an orange peel, or you can kind of play to the seasonality of it. So you could use like apple slices, or some fresh thyme,
I have an apple.
or if you have any dehydrated fruit, whatever you have lying around that you think it would be good. I mean, that's kind of like open to your interpretation, and it changes the drink. It really does. Yeah. Nice sexy apple slice.
Thank you.
That and thyme is like a really good combination.
I have some thyme, but it's all the way outside, so I'm just gonna.
We don't have time for that.
We don't have time for time, damn it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Okay, well, I guess we just have to make sure to get you back. I'm gonna put you back so people can see you. We're just gonna have to get you back and do this again because we got cut off a little early, and that's a bummer.
Yeah, now that we've kind of figured it out. And thanks for being patient with us, everyone.
Yeah, and we'll both be posting pictures of our grazing boards on our Instagrams. So
damn straight.
Yeah, and I'll put one on my YouTube channel, like the post thing as well, so you guys can see. And let's do this again.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Paula.
Thanks, Cass. Love ya. Hope to see you soon in real life.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Okay, I'm hanging up. Bye.